Hello, I'm Pauline Rowe. Welcome to this short creative writing workshop that will introduce you to life writing and encourage you to write about your own experiences, memories and lives. We all have our own lives and stories to tell, and this is an introduction to life writing to encourage you to think about the stories you want to explore about your own lives or the lives of people who matter to you. There are many ways in which lives are written: letters, biographies, diaries, memoirs, obituaries, autobiographies, confessions, letters, emails, through local and oral histories, and sometimes through social research, through the lives of houses even, places, objects, artists, musicians, scientists, and we also looked at our own lives through family history as well. Today we're going to be looking at short exercises and specific details of experience or observation to get you started. I'd encourage you to keep your writing in one place, either in a notebook or a file or an old shoebox if you write on separate sheets of paper, and this will encourage you and help you to see your progress. With the more writing you do, the more confidence you'll build. So to get started, you need a pencil, some paper, and today we're going to do some free writing today. I'll give you a writing exercise to work on over the next week or so as well. But first, what I would like you to think about is to read life stories, read about other lives and experiences. There's an information sheet that goes with this short film, and it includes information and further links that will, as well as the writing prompt for you to work on over the next week. And before we get started, I want to share a short extract from this wonderful book, Jeanette Winterson's memoir, Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal. It gives us a lovely glimpse into the way we can think and explore everyday things. To cross the threshold is to enter another world, whether the one on the inside or the outside, and we can never really be sure what is on the other side of the door until we open it. Everyone has dreams of familiar doors and unknown rooms. Narnia is through a door in a wardrobe. In the story of Bluebeard, there's one door that must not be opened. A vampire cannot cross a threshold strewn with garlic. Open the door into the tiny TARDIS, and inside is a vast and changing space. The tradition of carrying the new bride into her new house is a rite of passage. One world has been left behind, another entered. When we leave the parental home, even now, we do much more than go out of the house with a suitcase. Our own front door can be a wonderful thing, or a sight we dread. Rarely is it only a door. I think that's a wonderful piece that shows an imaginative way of thinking about and approaching something every day. And I want to encourage you to think in this way, to observe closely, to think deeply. Rarely are those familiar things around us only what they appear to be. We're going to do a short free writing exercise now. Free writing is something we use in our workshops, and it's really the idea of warming up, of getting a bit of practice, of not worrying too much about what you're writing. It's when you just start writing, you put your pen to paper, you keep writing without stopping, you don't overthink anything, you just, whatever comes to mind or whatever comes to your pen or pencil. And it's not a test, it's flexing those creative muscles, it's just getting used to doing a bit of writing. And so we're going to do that now. I want you to look around you where you are, just where you're sitting, and notice what's there. Noticing things is taking notice of the world is a big part of well-being as well. So I want you to write down this first line. the familiar things around me are. So just write that down. The familiar things around me are. And then look around, and I want you to just take a few minutes and keep writing. Just look around, notice what is around you, and just write, okay? So a few minutes to do that. Keep writing. I'll tell you when to stop. I'll do it too. Don't worry, just keep writing anything that comes to you. And if you're stuck at all, just write a list. Okay. All right. So start writing, and don't worry if you've not got lots of material. That's not the point. You should have been able to write some of the things that you observe around you. Remember, the first requirement of writing is simply to write, and you've just written something. Don't worry if it doesn't feel very accomplished. Go back to it later and see if you've written something you think is interesting or is worth developing. The next writing task we're going to do is just to complete a short exercise. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to answer them, to write them down. So another quick writing exercise, just very simple. Pen to paper. Name your favourite teacher ever. Write that down, just your answer. How old were you when they taught you? What was the name of the school? What subject or topic do you remember them teaching you? What was the quality or thing you most remember about them? You can do this as a bit of shorthand. You don't have to write full sentences here. Can you describe them in 5 words? Okay. Can you visualise the classroom where they taught you? Can you just think about it and visualise it? And if you can, write something about that classroom. Okay. Okay. So this is just a very quick exercise. We have thought about, we're asking questions, and this is important. It's important that you ask the right questions. What interests you? What details can you draw on? These are very simple things to do. What I'd like us to do now is, I'll just tell you some of the things I've jotted down with that last one. Mr. Hoyle was the name of the teacher, and he was a principal at my sixth form college. And what I thought about when I think about him teaching was he taught us Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, English literature. I've put the thing I think about, 5 things to describe him. Leeds accent, glasses, funny, sad, 50s. He was in his 50s. He might have been in his late 40s, but he seemed ancient to me at the time. They're just some very simple answers to those questions for me, and that might give me a starting point. The thing that surprised me was when I thought about where he taught. We were in his office, in his principal's office, and he often taught from behind his desk, but then would get up and walk about and was animated, and that made a difference as well. That just, sometimes when we really think about our own experiences, sharp, unexpected things come to light, and that's the area to really focus on with your writing. Just those surprises, those things to start with. We have done some writing today, a little bit. We've some free writing, which is something we will do and use when we do these short workshops. So just that free expression. We've answered some questions that I've put to you, but that's with the idea of prompting yourself to ask the right questions when you're thinking of a subject to write about. And we've also read a little extract from Jeanette Winterson. So it's a start. And the 5-minute, just doing a little free 5-minute write every day is something that you could do at least a couple of times a week. This builds confidence as well as providing material for your work. The other aspect is to really observe whether what's in front of you or outside, to observe the familiar things that surround you. Or we can observe details and experiences that we might have in our memories. This is just a short introduction to really say hello and to hopefully get you started. And what I'm going to do is set you a writing task to complete over the next week. It's something that's been inspired by the Mass Observation Archive. That started in 1937, and it was something during the war. A lot of people kept their diaries and records. Housewife 49 was a film made out of one of the Mass Observation Archives. It was Victoria Wood did it as a film, so you may have heard of that. So the task that I want you to work on for next week is to choose a room in your home that has a surface or a place such as a mantelpiece or shelf where you put items of importance. The exercise, this was the first exercise that the Mass Observation Archive set for people, and it was all round the mantelpiece, as you can imagine, in 1937. But choose your own place. I want you to describe it. I want you to write down from left to right what is on display. Is there a particular order? How are the items arranged? Is it for practical purposes or for decoration, or because an item is of special importance? Are there any items that are hidden, behind other things, bills or receipts? Who uses this as their place? Who puts items on the mantelpiece or on this special shelf? Is there more than one person? How often do the items and the arrangements change? Okay. Now don't worry that the details about this prompt are on the information sheet that's provided with this short film. It gives you a link to the current Mass Observation website, and also a link to a really interesting radio programme about the hidden life of the mantelpiece. So good luck with your writing this week. Remember, this is only a short prompt, kind of a short beginning to get you to think about your own writing, life writing, and to build a bit of confidence. The main thing is to observe, write what you can see, use your thoughts and memories, and don't be afraid of putting pen to paper. Okay, I'll see you next time. Thank you.